Hello grade 12s, welcome back to a new video. So in today's video we'll be doing the business studies paper 1 that was written in 2023 as a final exam. Okay, so we will use this business studies paper 1 that was written in 2023 as a preparation for our final exams. I hope you guys are well and you have prepared yourself well enough. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, share with your friends and families. And yes, without wasting any more of your time, let's get right into this video. So in the first page we have instructions and information. Read the following instructions carefully before answering the question, and the person that is invigilating will go through your instructions and information with you guys. And I hope you know that in section B you're given 3 questions and you're only required to answer 2 of the 3 questions. So what you do is that you look at question 2, take your pencil or your pen, give a tick to the questions that you're able to answer, and then do the same for question 3, do the same for question 4, and then you will count them, and the questions that you can answer more, those are the 2 questions that you're going to do. And then with the essay type question, choose the one you understand more. Okay, out of the 2, if you didn't study enough, just go with the one that you understand more. And one thing I want to advise you on is that business studies, you don't have to write things that are in your notes word for word. Okay, you write whatever you understand about that. It's like you teaching somebody else, so that works perfectly. Make sure you understand concepts. Make sure you understand. If they say what does the National Credit Act, the Consumer Protection Act does, even if you had forgotten about the objective maybe of the National Credit Act, but you know that it regulates credit, right? So it makes sure that the business that is granting credit is giving it to credit worthy customers, and it's protecting customers from unlawful credit providers and so forth. So you will be able, as long as you know what is the concept, you must be able to answer that question. Okay, put the English together, let it come together for your sake, so that you can be able to answer that question. So you don't have to know things word for word when you're studying. Only understand the concept and we are good to go. Okay, so yeah, and make sure that you use your time wisely. Guys, if you don't know a question, skip it, go to the next one. Do not be sitting there and trying to crack your head to remember the question. It's not going to help. This is your final exam, your final chance, okay, to ace these exams. So don't waste your time on things that you do not know. Do not. What you have to do is go to the next question that you know. So you would have wasted your time, and then now time is up, you're not done. Don't do that. Stick to questions that you know. We don't know a question, we do what? We skip it. Okay, we don't panic, we are relaxed, we've got this. So we don't know a question, we skip. All right, now we're in section A. Section A is compulsory. This act promotes comprehensive various options are provided as possible answers for the following question. Choose the answer and write only the letter A to D next to the question number. Okay, so 1.1 says the act promotes comprehensive safety regulations for employers and employees in the business. It regulates comprehensive safety regulations, meaning in the workplace there has to be safety in the workplace. What act promotes safety? Anything safety? Well, it's number D. Okay, it cannot be Skills Development Act, it cannot be Consumer Protection Act, it cannot be Labor Relations Act. Actually, 1.1.1 is such an easy. The options that have been given to you are correct. They are nice. It's very easy for you to detect the correct answer. So for 1.1.1 is D, and 1.1.2, Sue Stationery applied their diversification strategy when they added cleaning materials to their product range that could appeal to new customers. And that is what? Conglomerate. So that is number C. Okay, for 1.1.2. And then the cashier at Sunshine Supermarket lacked the skill of how to operate the new cash register. This is an example of what in a SWOT analysis? Weaknesses and strength are internal problems. Opportunities and threats are external problems. So 1.1.3 is a weakness. It's an internal problem, and it can be solved internally. So 1.1.4 says businesses may use as a source of internal recruitment to advertise available vacancies. What do you use to advertise to current employees? Maybe a promotion to current employees. What do you use? Well, you will use word of mouth. Okay. So A, it's 1.1.4. And a 1.1.5 says KB manufacturers have regular control checks and procedures in place to prevent product defects. This refers to as a total management element. So that is monitoring and evaluation of quality process. Because say KB manufacturers have regulated control checks and procedures in place to prevent product defects. So that is controlling and evaluating quality processes, and that's how you get your 10 marks. So we are in 1.2. Complete the following statements by using the words provided in the list below. Write only the words next to the question number in the answer book. So we have medical aid, tertiary, national credit regulators, economics, management, secondary, social, performance, unemployment insurance, and National Credit Act. So you're going to choose the word in the box that best describes the expressions. So 1.2.1 says Express Bank must be registered with the in order for them to offer loans to client. Well, easy busy, the National Credit Act. Jenny Wholesalers 1.2.2. Jenny Wholesalers operate in the sector as they specialize in distributing product. Well, that is the tertiary sector. It is a service-based industry. And then 1.3.2 says a challenge of the pastel analysis that affects businesses' profitability due to high interest rates is known as the economic factor. So 1.2.4 says the fund is a compulsory benefit that offers short-term financial assistance to workers who lose their jobs due to illness. Well, that is the unemployment insurance and fund. So 1.2.5, SESHA contractions implements quality by using tools and techniques to improve the quality of the product. Management, quality management. So the right answer for 1.2.5 is management. And then we are here. Choose a description from column B that matches a term in column A. So we have leadership, market development, recruitment, total quality management, and public relations functions. Okay, so those are what we have. And I'm just going to give you the right alphabet for column A. That matches column A. So 1.3.1 goes with E. Leadership is a theoretical and practical training opportunity leading to a recognized qualification. Not leadership, learnership. Learnership is a theoretical and practical training opportunity leading to a recognized qualification. So 1.3.1 is E, and then 1.3.2 is G. Well, Market development aims at selling existing products in a new market. So that is market development. Developing a new market. And then, so for 1.3.3, recruitment goes with H. Finds potential candidates for available vacancies. And then 1.3.4, total quality management goes with A. It ensures full involvement of all employees to satisfy customers' needs. And then public relations function goes with B. Provides a regular press release to the community. So that is how section A, paper 1 goes. And here is the answers if you had missed something. And yeah, so you will find them here. And let's continue with the question paper. Let's go to section B. Guys, do you even have notes? Do you know that is very important for you to write notes? It's very, very important. With theory-based, very, very important that you decode everything that you have read into what you understand, okay? Into your own words. Summarizing is very important. It will help you go a long way. So, you don't have to be carrying textbooks around. Just have your notebook and you just go through that. And then you have to call them out as well. After reading theory, another tip is that after reading a certain chapter, you must go back and write the whole chapter without looking at your book or at your notes. It's another way to memorize theory. It's a lot, so you need to be smart about it, okay? So name any 2 consumer rights as stipulated in the Consumer Protection Act. Any 2 consumer rights stipulated in the Consumer Protection Act. What is the Consumer Protection Act? And also think about 2.2. Outline the advantages of diversification strategy. You can pause the video, think about that, and then play the video again to get your answer. So for 2.1, they have a right to choose, right to privacy, right to fair and honest dealings, right to disclosure and information, right to fair and responsible marketing, right to fair value, good quality and safety. You see, all those rights. So you know the right as a consumer. Okay, so you just jot that down, even if you had forgotten the order or the correct wording, but you still get your marks. These memos are discussed amongst people who are going to mark, and so they try by all means possible to make sure that justice is served to each and every learner. And then the advantages of diversification strategy is to increase sales and business growth, improve the business brand and image, to reduce the risks of relying only on one product for sale, revenue, and income. Okay, diversification strategy. How do I diversify? Okay, diversification into a manner of industries of product line. How do I to diversify is to expand, okay? Sort of to be diverse. How can you sell a different thing? That's like ShopRite has now a takeaway branch. I think it's Chick Express or something like that. It's like this your KFC, your Nando, not your Nando's, your KFC, your Chicken Little type of fried chicken. So they also sell that. So they diversified. Okay, so that's what is there. So let's read 2.3. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Rainbow Furniture Manufacturers took over wood furniture manufacturers to reduce competition in the market. The management of RFM evaluate their strategies regularly. So Rainbow Furnitures took over a wood manufacturing company. That is a horizontal. Identify the type of integration strategy. It's a horizontal integration strategy. Okay, so that is 2.3.1, and then 2.3.2 says discuss the steps in strategy evaluation. So when you are evaluating a strategy, you examine the underlying basis of a business strategy. So you look at the basis basically of that business strategy. You look forward and backwards in the implementation process. You compare expected performance with the actual performance. You determine the reasons for deviations and analyze these reasons. You take corrective actions so that deviations may be corrected. Set specific dates for control and follow-up. Draw up a table of advantages and disadvantages of that strategy, and then decide on the desired outcome that will result in the achievement of business goals. So consider the impact of the strategic implementation in the internal or external environment of the business. Any other relevant answer. So you are not limited to what has been provided in the main memo. So that's where discussions will take place, and you will still get your marks if you are still within the steps of strategy evaluation. 2.4, explain how businesses could apply the following forces of Porter's 5 forces model to analyze their position in the market environment. Power of bias, threats of substitute. Let's look at how business can use this model to analyze their position in the market. So what power do you have over bias and the threats of substitution? So the threats of a business product being substituted by somebody who starts a new business that substitute the products, or consumers just being tired of this one and finding an alternative. So this is the application. So power of bias. Assess how easy it is for bias customers to drive prices down. How powerful are your buyers? Buyers buying in bulk can bargain for prices in their favor. So that's how they drive prices down. Conduct market research to gather more information about this buyer. Determine the number of buyers, the importance of each buyer to the business, and the cost of switching to other products. A few powerful buyers are often able to dictate their terms to the business. Buyers that can do without the business products have more power to determine the prices and terms of sale. And any other relevant answer will be taken, so you're not limited to what is there. Threats of substitution. Business product that can be easily substituted weaken the power of the business in the market. Look at that. Establish whether the seller of substitute product have improved their product or sell lower quality goods at lower prices. Businesses selling unique products will not be threatened by substitute product. So you just have to understand, we have a whole playlist here on Facebook, Business Studies Grade 12, where everything has been taught. All of the chapters that you have done have been dealt with, and there is no chapter you will not find on that playlist. And then 2.5, discuss ways in which businesses can comply with the Employment Equity Act. You know, guys, what will help is that you just look at the questions, pause the video, try to write them down, and then come back to see if you have done well. Okay, discuss ways in which businesses can comply with the Employment Equity Act. How they can comply with the Employment Equity Act. How do they implement it? So you look at the what is required for the business to do from the Employment Equity Act, and how can the business implement the rules of the Employment Equity Act. You just write them down. They must hire people fairly, stuff like that. You see, businesses should guard against discriminatory appointments, assess the racial composition of all employees, including senior management, ensure that there is a equal representation of all racial groups, ensure that affirmative action measures promote diversity in the workplace, implement affirmative action measures. You see, everything that has to do with being a a good employer. Retrain, develop, train designed groups through skills development, and you are not limited to what is on this list. You will get your answer for any other relevant answer related to the ways in which business can comply with the Employment Equity Act. So, Katlego Logistics complies with the Labor Relations Act by observing the right of employees in the workplace. Employees take part in legal strikes without any fear of victimization. They are also locked out by KL to prevent damage to the property. The trade union representatives have given time off to attend to their respective duties. Quote 2 rights of employees in terms of the Labor Relations Act from the scenario. So, they are allowed to take part in legal strikes without any fear of victimization. What is the other one? Look at it. And when you look at it, look at 2.6.2, explain other rights of employees in terms of Labor Relations Act, and then advise businesses on the strategic management process. You can just write that down and then come back. You got it right if you say trade union representatives are given time off to attend to their respective duties. And then 2.6.2, other rights of employees in terms of the Labor Relations Act. Employees may join a trade union of their choice, refer unresolved workplace dispute to the CCMA, refer unresolved CCMA disputes to the Labor Court of Appeal on appeal, request trade union representatives to assist represent employees in the grievances and disciplinary area. Any other relevant answer, so you're not only limited to that, as long as it relates to the Labor Relation Act. And then strategic management. Businesses should have a clear vision, mission statement, must be measurable, realistic, and objective in place. Identify opportunities, weaknesses, strengths, threats by conducting environmental scannings, situation analysis. Tools available for employment scanning may include SWOT analysis. So that is how you will advise the business. Or number 2, businesses should review, analyze, and re-examine their vision mission statement. Conduct an environmental analysis using models such as SWOT analysis, PASTEL, or POTAS 5. So guys, you just have to be able to understand the question and implement it. So name 2 components of job analysis. Do you know that? HR, outline the reason for the termination of an employment contract. Pause the video, think about it, write it down, and then play again when you have written down what you suggest. So components of a job analysis is job description and job specification. So you get 2 marks. 1 mark for each job description and job specification. Okay. Reason for the termination of employment contract. So meaning an employment contract can only be determined if the employer may dismiss an employee for valid reasons such as unsatisfactory job performance or misconduct. Employer may no longer have work for redundant employees, cannot fulfill the contract or they are restructuring. So the employer may retrench some workers due to insolvency. So if a person is no longer performing at work, you fire them. If you have too many workers and there's no work for them to do, you fire them. You can get rid of them. If the employer, you can also retrench people if you're not able to pay them. Okay. Employee decides to leave, or the person you have employed decides to leave. So these are all the reasons, not limited to this. More can be brought up by you and they'll be taken into consideration. So 3.3, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Seaview Properties offers attractive fringe benefit packages in order to reduce employee turnover. SP encourages employees to attend training programs. Employees are also loyal and willing to go the extra mile. Quote 2 advantages of fringe benefits that are applicable to SP from the scenario below. 3.3.2 says explain other advantages of fringe benefits for the business. What is an advantage of a fringe benefit? Quote from the scenario. So C, View Properties offers attractive fringe benefit packages in order to reduce employee turnover, so they can help reduce employee turnover. Employees are also loyal, so they are loyal because of the fringe benefits. So that is the advantage of a fringe benefit. It's not what is a fringe benefit, okay? Other advantages is it improves productivity. When people have benefits at work, guys, what advantage will that add to the business? If you add a car allowance now to somebody who's working for you, how will that benefit the business? That's how you answer this question, okay? Easy peasy. And while you're at it, please hit that like button if you are enjoying, or just comment on the comment section down below. Advise businesses on the impact of external recruitment. External is outside. So if you want to hire someone in your business and you decide to hire someone outside, how can that impact the business? Let's talk about impact. It can be a disadvantage or a disadvantage, an advantage or a disadvantage. So if you advise the business on the impact of external recruitment, impact, you can say the advantages or positive impact. This is the advantages, the negative impact, So you choose whether you would like to focus on the negative impact or the positive impact of how will you going to get someone. If you are, maybe you're a firm, you have a vacancy, maybe it's a management position or whatever, and you said to not hire the people that work for the firm and look for somebody else. Where? How will that impact the business? What advantage or disadvantage will that have on the business? While you're on that, do 3.5, outline the quality indicators of the production function. The production function is that function that turns raw material into finished goods. So what are the quality indicators? How can you say, okay, this production function shows the signs of quality? So here are the advantages. New candidates bring new talent. There is a large pool of candidates to choose from. Make sure you use a full sentence so that you get your full 2 marks. So if it's full 2 marks, then you just check. And minimizes unhappy conflict amongst current employees who may have applied for the post. So it's a lot. Information on CV from referee may not be reliable. Many unsuitable applications may slow down the selection process. New candidates generally take longer to adjust to a new work environment. And you can say external recruitment may limit promotion growth opportunities that could lead to resentment among employees. So that is why sometimes it can be bad to get an outside person to take up a management role, or it can be positive to uplift those who are already in the business. So quality indicators in the production function provides high quality products, services according to specifications. So if they're given a specification, manufacture this product with the specification, they deliver. That is a quality indicator. The production operating process of a business should be done correctly through proper production planning and control. Products and services should be produced at the lowest possible cost to allow for profit maximization. So if they produce at a lower cost, there is quality indicator, but they are producing the best quality. Businesses should clearly communicate the roles and responsibilities of the production workforce. Products must meet customers' requirements by being safe, reliable, and durable. Specify the product or service standard and make note of factors that consumers use to judge quality. And then 3.6, the role of quality cycles as part of continuous improvement to processes and system. Solve problems related to quality and implement improvements. Investigate problems and suggest solution. So if there is this, ensure that there is no duplicate of activities, tasks in the workplace. Make suggestion for improvement. Improve the quality of product services through regular reviews and quality management. Not limited to all these answers. Copas Motor Spares is a large business that sells different car parts across the country. They perform checks during and after the production process. KMS also implements total client customer satisfaction to keep ahead of their latest developments in the market. Identify the quality concept implemented by KMS in the scenario above. Discuss the impact of total client customer satisfaction as total quality management element on large businesses. Advise businesses on the benefits of a good quality management system. So write them down and then let's continue to see the answers. So these are more answers for 3.7.2. These are the negative impact. These are the positive impact. So benefits of a good no 3.7.1, that is quality assurance. Impact of client satisfaction. This the positive, the advantages. Large businesses use market research, customer surveys to measure and monitor customer satisfaction. So those are the positive. And then the negative impact, benefits of a good quality management system. How will having a good quality management system benefit the business? That is how you answer this question. Right? Let's move on. So question 4, it's a combination. So you will have question 2 is business environments, and then question 3 is business operations. But in question 4 is miscellaneous, so you will have both of them. So if you know business environments more and you don't know business environments, choose question 2 and question 4. Or if you know business operations more and less of business environments, do question 3 and question 4. Okay? Yeah. So name any 4 provisions of the Basic Conditions of Employment Act. Any 4 provisions. And then read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Zalo Enterprise sells a variety of products to different consumers. ZE always receives stock late from smart wholesalers. The management of ZE has difficulty in dealing with unproductive employees. So already they have 2 challenges. They receive stock late and they have difficulty dealing with unproductive employees. So you need to know the business environments and the external and the extent of control of each challenge. So go through 4.1 and 4.2 and then let's do the answers. So the provisions of Basic Conditions of Employment Act, it deals with termination of contracts, regulating of working hours, leaves, participating in particulars of employment and remuneration, and any other relevant answer. So this is how the one with suppliers is market, the one with employee is micro, internal, full control, and then with market is partial, is limited control. All right, 4.2.1, we've done all of that. 4.3 says discuss any 2 types of defensive strategy. What is defensive? Defense is protecting yourself. How can a business protect itself? That's how you answer. Through retrenchment and all of those things. How can it protect itself? And then 4.4, advise businesses on the role of SETAs in supporting the Skills Development Act. Type of defensive strategies is divestiture strategy, which is disposing and selling some assets, divisions that are no longer profitable, so you just sell them. Divestiture is getting rid of things that are no longer profitable to the business. Retrenchment, letting go of employees who are maybe older or the business is losing money by keeping them. Okay. And then liquidation, sell the business. If things are bad, you can do that. Okay. So you have to know these 3 defensive strategies. Role of CETAS is to report to the General Director, to promote and establish learnerships, collect levies and pay out grants as required, provide accreditation for skills development facilitators, register learnership agreement or learning programs, approve workplace skills plan and annual training reports, monitor, evaluate the actual training by service providers. Now we're going to look at 4.5 and 4.6. Outline the placement procedure as human resource activity. Placement is when now you are placing the person that has been hired. Explain two salary determination methods. How do you calculate salaries? How do you determine the salary of the people that are working? So 4.5 and 4.6. So placement procedure, you outline the specific responsibilities of the new position. They've been hired, so you tell them what they are expected to do. You determine the successful candidate's strengths, weaknesses, interests, skills by subjecting him or her to a range of psychological tests. Determine the relationship between the position and the competencies of the new candidate or any other relevant answer. I have a whole video on this, so you can watch that. Salary determination methods is piecemeal. Workers are paid according to the number of items, units produced or action performed, or time related, where workers are paid according to the amount of hours they spend on the work or the task. What I can say is that for paper 1, you must know total quality management. Like, you know that chapter, like your life depends on it. Okay, it's gonna come in handy. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Vashni Limited uses aggressive advertising campaigns to increase their customer base. Jabu, the senior manager, draws up budgets to ensure accurate application of monetary resources. Identify 2 business functions that are applicable to VL. Motivate your answer by quoting from the scenario above. So guys, before we get to this, you must be able to, like, when you are looking at this question paper, look at chapters that are assessed more, like where most questions come from. So you see that for paper 1, that quality management, you cannot neglect it. You must know it very well, and you must also know your acts very, very well. Okay, you must be able to know. You must also be able to identify things from scenarios. So you must be able to identify problems from scenarios. Okay, so it's very, very important. Know those diversification strategies a lot. Like they are a lengthy chapter, and so it's very important that you know them. Okay, it's very, 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 very important. Total quality management, you must be able to know this type of things, and HR as well. So you must know it very well. There's a lot of things to know, but yeah, everything will be fine. So identify 2 business functions that are applicable to LV. Motivate your answer by quoting from the scenario above. Use the table below as a guide to answer 4.7. And then 4.8, recommend ways in which total quality management can reduce the cost of quality. So this is how you have to answer 4.7. And then that is 4.8, ways in which total quality management can reduce the cost of quality. By introducing quality circles to discuss ways of improving the quality of their work. Reschedule activities to eliminate duplication of tasks. Share responsibilities for quality output among managers and workers. Train employees at all levels. And any other relevant answer. Now here we are on section C, doing our essays. Clearly indicate the question number of the chosen section. The answer to the question must start on a new page. And yeah, so business studies, business environment, legislature. We will have is either you have legislation, human resource, or total quality management as your essay type questions. So the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act is one of the popular acts that benefits both businesses and designated groups. Businesses should know the advantage of the act on their operations to avoid penalties for non-compliance. They should also apply management control and ownership as part of the triple BEE pillars in the workplace. Write an essay on the broad-based Black economic empowerment in which you include the following aspects. Outline the purpose of the broad-based Black economic empowerment. This is your body. Your body will be the purpose of broad-based Black economic empowerment. You write. Then the second paragraph, explain the advantages of triple BEE Act for business. Outline. Your introduction will be 5.1. The purpose of broad-based Black economic empowerment will be 5.2. And then explain the advantages of triple BEE will be 5.3. Discuss penalties that businesses may face for non-compliance with the Act is 5.4. And then suggest ways in which businesses could apply the following pillars of triple BEE in the workplace. That will be 5.5. So you are advised to write an essay about the triple BEE, broad-based Black economic empowerment. So in your introduction, you have to explain what is that, okay? Explain what is triple BEE. That's how you write your introduction, and you'll get your full 2 marks. And then in the body, that's when you explain everything. The purpose of broad-based Black economic empowerment, advantages of it. Here they are. Yeah, we've been doing this, guys. Penalties for non-compliance with broad-based Black economic empowerment. Here they are. Penalties. What will happen if you do not comply as a business, right? Ways in which businesses could apply with the broad-based Black economic empowerment pillars. Management control. How can they apply with management control, with ownership? And now you have your conclusion. With your conclusion, you just write effect. After you have written all of this, what is your final say and what is your final take? That will be your conclusion. So make sure you read and understand everything. You write an essay. Those paragraphs, you write them as if you're explaining to somebody, but you're just using point form. Okay, very, very important. And this is how you will be marked for everything. That your layout is 2 marks, analysis interpretation is 2 marks, synthesis 2 marks, originality, having examples is also 2 marks. So write an essay as if you're explaining to your grandmother what is triple BEE, what is what is what, and trust me, it works. And then question 6 is human resource function. Businesses follow the correct selection procedure to fill vacant posts in order to minimize fruitlessness expenditure. They also ensure that the interviewers understand their role before conducting interviews. Interviewers are people who interview. The successful candidates and employees must know the legal requirements of an employment contract. Businesses must also ensure that newly appointed employees receive proper induction. Write an essay on the human resource function in which you include the following aspects. Outline the selection procedure as a human resource activity. Explain the role of the interviewer before the interview. Discuss the legal requirements of an employment contract. And advise businesses on the purpose of induction. I think this is the easier one, depending on what you know more, of course. So introduction, you must explain what is a human resource function or the selection process. Anything that has to do with HR, explain it. Anything that has to do with selection, induction, and HR, just define it and you'll get your 2 marks. And then that is for 6.2, selection procedure. This is option number 1. Option number 2. So the procedure doesn't have to be in any order. Role of interviewer before an interview. Legal requirements of an employment contract. Purpose of induction. then that is your conclusion. If you're still struggling with any of these chapters, there is a full playlist for grade 12 business studies, so check that out. Thank you for watching. Until the next video. If you want to know, watch more videos, we have videos on mathematics, English paper 3, yeah, so thank you.